So, overall review number 100 deserves quite a fitting game to celebrate. Well, as suggested by one of my real life friends, he suggested that I should take a look at today's game. The game in question is, at the time of recording, almost 15 years old, and is meant to be Sonic's most ambitious title but ended up becoming his most infamous. You know it, I know it, we all know the game. For overall review number 100, welcome to my trash or treasure of Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. Enjoy the show. Oh dear God, what the actual fuck am I getting myself into? For those who, for some reason, aren't aware of this game is argued to be one of the most atrocious games ever to be spewed out from the gaming industry. Right up there with the likes of Superman 64, Bubsy 3D on PlayStation 1, Big Rigs on PC, and E.T. on the Atari 2600. Sonic the Hedgehog, or Sonic 06 as most people call it, is a 3D action platforming game developed by Sonic Team and published by SEGA. It was released in the fall of 2006 for the Xbox 360 and winter of 2007 for the PlayStation 3. Believe it or not, as a kid, I was completely unaware of this game's infamous legacy. Now, keep in mind I was born in April of 2003 and didn't start getting into video games until around, I want to say, 2009. It wasn't until I started watching YouTube where I saw Sonic 06. Out of all the reviews that I saw, the earliest one I can remember and one that I still watch is Some Call Me Johnny. Keep in mind, it's never my intention to steal any material or jokes. I only make the same jokes as a homage. And I believe 2018 or 2019 is when I finally decided to get Sonic 06 for the PlayStation 3, since that's the system that I own. During the holidays of 2019, I decided to buy Sonic 06 for a friend of mine who owns not only an Xbox 360 but also an Xbox One. Neither of us know why the game doesn't work. The disc only has like a tiny little scratch on it. But with personal history out of the way, I would actually like to talk about the development history because trust me, it's rather interesting but also tragic. So after the failed abortion that was Shadow the Hedgehog, SEGA wanted to celebrate Sonic's upcoming 15th anniversary by having Sonic Team develop the next big Sonic game on the, at the time, new Xbox 360 hardware. AKA hardware nobody has any experience with! So let's just say they need to learn this new hardware and fast, especially given the fact that SEGA weren't willing to delay the game. Boy did that come to bite them in the ass later. At E3 2005, we were given on what this new Sonic game is going to be like, which at the time went by the project name Sonic Next Gen, but later revealed to just simply be Sonic the Hedgehog. All the footage showed was what SEGA and Sonic Team were going to put into this game. But like I said, after the failure that was Shadow the Hedgehog, SEGA was in a bit of a tight pickle. Simply put, Shadow the Hedgehog ruined the series at the time, after which the anniversary game started development. And it was all downhill from there. At numerous gaming conventions, we were given a lot of footage, and the game was even going to have a day and night cycle, almost like Castlevania II Simon's Quest, except without the slow as hell text. The 15th anniversary game was also known for using the Havoc game engine, but despite a lot of progress, the game was suffering from its very forced development time. But SEGA, being the dolts that there aren't laying up on a November 2006 deadline. Just to make things even worse, Sony announced the overpriced piece of hardware that was the PlayStation 3, which is set to be released in the fall of 2006. So SEGA decided to put even more stress on Sonic Team by having the anniversary game be a PlayStation 3 launch title. And as if that wasn't even utter hell already, Yuji Naka, the guy who basically kickstarted this whole franchise, resigned from Sonic Team in March of 2006, several months short of this game's release. To be honest here, I couldn't blame him. If I was in his position, I'd also resign from Sonic Team because of all the stress SEGA had been putting me through just because they wanted this game out by the anniversary month of Sonic. With Naka basically jumping ship, Sonic Team were left on their own with the game. What if I told you it gets worse than what I've already mentioned? As if having this game on both the Xbox 360 and PS3 weren't hell enough, SEGA also wanted the game to be on the Wii, but after receiving the dev kit and learning that the Wii isn't as powerful as the 360 or the PlayStation 3, meaning the 15th anniversary game could not be ported onto the Wii. So instead of just abandoning their stupid idea and focusing on having the anniversary game be suitable for the HD systems, SEGA instead decided to split the team in two, with one working on the Wii game, which would eventually become Sonic and the Secret Rings, and the other working on the anniversary game. How did they not go out of business? So despite having even less people than before, SEGA would still not let up on the November deadline. There was also a rumor saying that one of the members' computer hardware got corrupted, meaning all that progress basically got Thanos snapped before it was cool. This caused them to work off of an older build of the game, believe it or not, so they made but also lost progress. In fact, there was also a demo for the anniversary game which fans said ran better than the final product. But the November deadline was approaching and rather fast. Even after all the unfortunate happenings occurring, the game was not in releasable condition. What was Sega's response? They didn't give a flying fuck. They wanted the game out on time, and another rumor stated that Sega fired their QA team after this. I'll ask again, how did they not go out of business? With the last remaining minutes the team have, the one they presented to their QA team was a buggy mess, so they switched to an even older and more stable build again so the game could be released. Think about this for a moment. The version of Sonic 06 we ended up getting was from an older and more stable build. I am scared shitless on what would happen if they released this using the current build. With Sega's poor business practices ended up backfiring on them, Sonic 2006 was universally hated by the entire population, both critics and by fans. The load screens, the voice acting, the controls, and just how underwhelming the game ended up being. Much like how Sonic the Hedgehog ended up ruining a great character, Sonic 06 ended up ruining the entire franchise. In fact, the actual release date of this game was November 14th, 2006. That was the same day Sega decided to release the infamous Sonic Genesis GBA game. But with that massive history lesson out of the way, let's just get through the mess of the story of this train wreck of a game. And I'll be trying to explain it as best as I possibly can, if I don't lose my mind while doing so. Without further ado, here's the plot. Now, similar to Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 and Heroes, the story is broken up to three major characters: Sonic, Shadow, and newcomer Silver the Hedgehog. Be all three and you unlock the last story. Thank God this isn't like Shadow the Hedgehog, where there are 10 non-canonical endings just to unlock the true ending. Alright, so in the distant future we see new face Silver facing off this evil-looking demon-like creature named Iblis, a being who is responsible for turning the world into the setting for the next Doom game. Silver is joined by his friend and mentor Blaze the Cat. Together they manage to stop Iblis from causing any more chaos, because just from the look of things, the world has already gone to shit. For those who are unfamiliar with Blaze, she originally debuted in the DS game Sonic Rush. In that game she was from another dimension where she ruled as queen, but here she's apparently from the future. To be honest, I don't get the retcon, especially considering Sonic Rush came out a year before this. I'm sure fans were already attached to Blaze after playing Rush, but that still doesn't answer why the quick retcon, Sega. Now Silver, just from his overall attitude, is fed up with the constant fights against Iblis, and he wishes that there's a way to have Iblis gone for good. It's here we are introduced to Mephiles the Dark, a being who bears a striking resemblance to Shadow and can help Silver since he apparently has the ability to travel through time. Mephiles claims that the being responsible for all this is none other than Sonic himself. How? By showing a projection of Sonic in the fiery background, and that's it. So Silver, clearly not thinking straight, agrees with Mephiles' plan to go back in time to kill Sonic to prevent what is the equivalent of Sephiroth unleashing a mini supernova and Goku unleashing a gigantic spirit bomb at the same time. At the present time we are introduced to Princess Elise III of Soliana, and is possibly one of the palest human video game characters I ever laid eyes upon. Seriously, with that skin tone she could possibly be the long lost sister of Alucard, give or take. Soliana also has this tradition called the Festival of the Sun to honor their god Solaris, and is apparently an actual name of Latin origins, roughly translating into English of the sun. Back to Sonic 06. Before anybody had a chance to get wasted or laid, Dr. Eggman showed up sporting a completely new design, and I don't care. I bet a lot of people are expecting me to bitch and moan about this design, but I honestly couldn't bring myself to care. More on that later. Anyways, Eggman only showed up to kidnap Elise, take her Chaos Emerald, and discover the secrets of the Flame of Disaster, which is a power within Elise. More on that later as well. Suddenly, Sonic shows up and beats down on Eggman's robots and takes off with Elise in his arms. Sonic destroys some more, but Eggman captures Elise. Now, I should remind you that this is the first cutscene you see when you initially boot up the game, so don't be surprised that you're confused. Back with Sonic, he decided to wait until morning to meet up with Tails. Instead of pulling up in the tornado to catch up, the two decided to fuck about in Wave Ocean while trying to catch a moving aircraft on foot. To absolutely no shocker, they ended up missing the egg carrier. Via the guards, Elise is being held captive in the desert, and if you thought the piñatas in Mario Sunshine were bad, these guards make those people look like the most welcoming citizens ever. Seriously, none of them, including the townsfolk, seem to care that their ruler has been captured and is most likely in serious danger. After doing some meaningless side quests, we rescue Elise, and she explains that 10 years ago, Soliana was almost destroyed by their own god Solaris using the Flames of Disaster. So in other words, the people of Soliana worship their god out of fear, because that's what we needed in the newest console Sonic game after having one about an alien invasion. After Sonic and Elise made it back to Soliana, Sonic gets attacked by Silver. During their battle, Elise gets captured again, leaving Sonic with this psychopath. Before Silver can deliver the killing blow, Amy shows up! Alright, just to explain what happened with Silver before the events of the battle, Amy confuses Silver with Sonic, causing Silver to miss his one chance to kill Sonic. Amy decides to help, not knowing the person Silver is looking for is Sonic, and here we are. Wow, that took shorter than expected. Amy ditches Silver, leaving him to wonder if it's right to kill someone for the sake of a good future, and Blaze gave him the answer which can best be summed up as, figure it out yourself, dipshit! Silver and Blaze continue their hunt, or rather, Silver, because Blaze really doesn't do much in this game. She's just there, possibly being like I said before, Silver's mentor, but she really doesn't do anything that important. Well, yeah, in all honesty, you can replace Blaze with someone like, let's say, Sally Acorn, and it'll have zero impact! Sonic and Tails meet up with Knuckles, who delivers a message from the good doctor saying Elise is in his base in the White Acropolis, and will return her in exchange for the Chaos Emeralds. Tails warns Sonic that it's most definitely a trap, but Sonic and Co decided to go anyways, because I'm pretty sure Sonic has a raging hard-on for Elise at this point. So the trio made it to Eggman and sent Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles into the future where Silver was born. It's there that they meet up with Rouge the Bat and Shadow the Hedgehog. Alright, time for this plot to start actually making some kind of sense here. Shadow's story begins with him infiltrating Eggman's base to rescue Rouge and an object she was sent to collect in the first place. Who were the people to give this mission to Shadow? Gun! Yep, you heard me correctly, the same people who gave him so much shit back in SA2 and Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow now works for them. If it were me, I would hold a tiny bit more resentment for the people who made my life a living hell in the first place, and I would definitely never consider working for them, no matter how much they pay. But hey, it's Shadow's choice. Stupid, but it's his choice. Meanwhile, Elise tries to escape with Amy, and she gets captured. Again! After Shadow rescued Rouge, she said the object she was sent to collect is called the Scepter of Darkness, something I bet Ansem Seeker of Darkness would love to have. Shadow and Rouge butt heads with Eggman in Kingdom Valley. The Scepter of Darkness shatters, which causes Eggman to run like a little bitch, and the shadow that emerges takes Shadow's, shadow, and takes a physical form, becoming Mephiles the Dark, who seems to have a personal raging hate boner against Shadow. Mephiles sends Shadow and Rouge to the future and meets up with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Shadow informs that in order to take us back to the past, we need the OP emeralds that suck ass, and at this point, I would rather eat the rotting carcass of a roadkill skunk and down the taste with a mics! How does Shadow know this? Because he thinks that Mephiles' time travel ability is similar to his Chaos Control ability. The group gets 2 Chaos Emeralds in no time and beats a tapeworm version of Iblis. Shadow and Sonic perform Chaos Control, but before Shadow enters, he sees Mephiles and gives chase. Mephiles does a really shitty job at trying to get Shadow to join the dark side, which he refuses since he already had enough of that in SA2 and Shadow the Hedgehog, but mostly because this guy's name is fucking Mephiles. I might as well rename the bastard to Mephistopheles, or bury your fucking Lucifer himself! But with the assistance of E123 Omega, the two stop Mephiles, who escapes to the present with Shadow and Omega tagging along. Sonic rescues Elise, again, fight Silver, again, causing Elise to get captured. Again! But before Silver can kill Sonic, Sonic is saved by Shadow this time, who beats Silver while Sonic makes his escape to rescue Elise for the 16th time. Let's be honest, we all love that part. I'm gonna need another Pepsi. Silver and Shadow perform Chaos Control together, causing another time rift to appear, which takes them 10 years into the past, so Shadow can convince Silver that Mephiles is really the bad guy here. Shadow and Silver see Solaris being experimented on by the Duke of Soliana, who is also Elise's father, and the experiment in question resulted in Solaris being split into two different beings, the Eternal Flames known as Iblis, and the Dark Shadow known as Mephiles. The Duke gives Shadow the Scepter of Darkness to seal away Mephiles, while Silver chases down Iblis. Shadow captures Mephiles, which he said he will come back and he will kill Shadow. Now since this is time travel, Shadow was always meant to seal away Mephiles. But there was just one teeny tiny itty bitty borderline microscopic problem. And that is mostly due to the fact Shadow was frozen on Prison Island during that time. So there's no way in hell that Shadow was meant to be the one to seal away Mephiles. Oh boy, remember how I said I would bring this up at a certain point later? Well, here it is. Sonic 06 was meant to be a full continuity reboot of the franchise. We would have all of our favorite characters from Adventure 1 onwards with no previous history. Now of course that would explain why Shadow would ever consider working with Gun, and how he was the one to seal Mephiles. This concept was completely shot in the ass with the release of Sonic Generations, making 06 canon with every other previous 3D Sonic game. Oops. Well, since this is not a reboot, that means that Shadow somehow snuck out of Prison Island, visited Soliana because he heard the food is fucking delicious, helped the Duke seal away Mephiles, and returned back to his tomb on Prison Island, where in 10 years, Eggman awakens Shadow, which finally kicks off the events of Sonic Adventure 2. Time travel is stupid! Why try and incorporate time travel? That almost never works in a game, because if you mess up with the rules, which mind you it's very easy to do, we have Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. Believe it or not, we're not even done with the story here! Now while Shadow is busy dealing with Mephiles, Silver is busy dealing with Iblis. The Duke informs Silver that Iblis must be sealed away in the Royal Soul, that being his only daughter Elise, father of the fucking year. Before the Duke dies, he informs that if Elise ever cries, Iblis will be released, bringing destruction to the entire planet. Yes, you heard me right. If Elise ever cries, Iblis will be released. Which brings up more questions. What are the rules here? Does laughing too hard to the point where you tear up count as crying? Or what about getting so pissed you end up tearing up? Having me believe that Elise will never cry for the last decade, especially after the death of her father, is really stretching my disbelief here, game. Whatever, after sealing both demons, Shadow and Silver head back to the present after Silver hands Lil Elise the blue Chaos Emerald, which does explain how she has it at the beginning of Sonic's story, unless you were to play Shadow's story where Silver jumps into the portal with the emerald still in his hand! Meanwhile, with Sonic and Elise, Sonic escorts her back to the castle where she is once again captured by Eggman. For fuck's sake, do the people not know what to do with Elise? Where are the guards? Where's Sonic where this is all happening? Why is Tails in Wave Ocean again? Someone, for the love of fuck, do something right here! Well, since everyone has the IQ of the average Twitter user, Sonic chases down Elise in Kingdom Valley with the help of Silver this time. If you're wondering where the hell Blaze is, I have no fucking idea. Sonic and Silver don't make it in time because they're chasing an aircraft on foot, and the egg carrier crashes, killing both Elise and Eggman, but no sign of Iblis. Guess if Elise dies, Iblis doesn't get released either. So Sonic and Silver use the Chaos Control ability so Sonic can get to Eggman prior to the egg carrier crashing, but goes in alone as Silver goes back to his own future with the idea to permanently seal away Iblis this time. This brings up the biggest problem ever. If Silver and Blaze actually went through with this idea, then they must know that they will no longer exist after destroying the Iblis trigger, because future events will have altered, causing them to be wiped away from existence, which in of itself creates a goddamn paradox. The story fucking sucks! We have characters that can time travel at will. This also applies to Mephiles. If this prick's ultimate goal is to rejoin with Iblis, then why the hell didn't he go back in time to to the experiment explosion, join with him there. Seriously, the Mephiles just came up with the have Silver kill Sonic just to have Elise cry idea just so this guy could be a cock? Because if so, then perhaps this story wouldn't have existed in the first place! Trust me, I'm trying to remain as calm as I possibly can here. I really am. But this reason is why I don't pay attention to story in video games in the first place. Thank God we're nearing the end. Sonic stops Eggman and saves Elise. Silver attempted to steal Iblis from the future away in him, but Blaze steps in as the sacrifice, and Shadow conjures up another Scepter of Darkness and deals with Mephiles, who is still roaming around like a complete idiot and tries to have Shadow join him again. Shadow attempted to steal away Mephiles, which failed spectacularly, and Team Dark and Mephiles duke it out after Shadow removed the inhibitor rings on his wrist, granting him extra strength. This is it, the last story. Turns out Mephiles isn't done with our heroes yet, as he managed to distract Sonic and Elise with his purple Chaos Emerald, giving Mephiles the perfect opportunity to impale Sonic, and that kills him! Yes, Sonic dies in a game called Sonic the Hedgehog. I bet tons of people were shocked when they first played this game. Elise cries, Iblis gets released, both demons join back together and create Solaris and sends the world in a timeless void, and all the main characters, minus Blaze, are left intact. Everyone's sad, they get the Chaos Emerald, and here we have the scene that still doesn't bother me no matter how many times I watch it. Thank you, Internet. With Elise's emerald-infused kiss, Sonic goes into his super form and shares the power with Shadow and Silver, and the three of them take the fight to Solaris. And, believe it or not, I actually like this fight. Well, not phase 1, but the second phase. This could be due to the music used, which is the main theme of the game, as well as Sonic's theme, his world. The music surprisingly fits great with this fight. The orchestral take on this song, combined with us fighting basically the Sonic universe equivalent to God, I love it. I actually complimented Sonic 06. Feels weird, to be honest. With Solaris dead, Sonic and Elise are sent to the past, where Solaris is nothing more but a flicker of a flame, where Elise hesitates to blow out the flame because this means she will forget Sonic.
I don't care what happens to the world.
God, you disgust me, you selfish princess. No disrespect to Lacey Chapper, Elise's English dubbed VA. She did a really great job as the character, don't get me wrong. But this reason alone is why I bet most people hate Elise and have her as their least favorite Sonic character in the entire franchise. Sonic tells Elise to just smile, and she blows out the flame, erasing this game from canon. Kinda. Soliana Festival occurs, Sonic watches from a distance with a great music piece, ending Sonic 06. Jesus Christ, what an absolute clusterfuck. I know I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but this game is the reason why I don't pay attention to stories in video games. The story is confusing, it's hard to explain, and the concept of time travel is completely shot in the foot here. But at least there's one good thing that came from this game's story, the voice actors. You see, up until Sonic and the Black Knight, SEGA used the 4Kids voice actors from Sonic X. This includes Lisa Ortiz as Amy, Erica Shorter as Blaze, Mike Pollock as Dr. Eggman, who is still voicing the character, Amy Pallett as Tails, Dan Green as Knuckles and Mephiles, and my personal favorite Sonic and Shadow voice actor, Jason Griffith. In terms of the new voices, we have Pete Capella as Silver, Madeline Blaustein as Omega, Kathleen Delaney as Rouge, and finally David Wills as the Duke of Soliana. To be honest here, I kinda do like the voice acting. That could be due to the reason I grew up listening to the 4Kids voice actors as the Sonic cast, but I like it. In terms of the voice acting from the new ones, the only one that I honestly don't like is Capella's Silver voice. The high pitch of this character's voice is honestly ear-grating. Like I said before, I mean no disrespect to the VAs, I'm sure they're nice people and went on to do other and, well, better projects. This is just my opinion. In terms of the new villain Mephiles the Dark, he's honestly, well, the darkest and most sadistic villain in the entire series. I can see why Mephiles has quite the following, especially given the fact he later makes his return in the Sonic Archie comics, along with Iblis and even Solaris. So in terms of how much I enjoy Mephiles, like I said, he's my favorite Sonic villain ever. But with the story, VAs, and new villain character out of the way, let's finally talk about that gameplay. The gameplay of Sonic 06 is like your standard run-of-the-mill 3D Sonic game. We mostly take control of Sonic, Shadow, and Silver. In certain parts of each level, we take control of each of the characters' amigos. Let's start with Sonic since he's the easiest to talk about. Sonic's gameplay is more or less the same as in previous 3D Sonic entries. He still has the homing attack, spin dash, and the light speed dash. New to Sonic's moveset is a leg sweep, which really isn't that useful. My main problem with Sonic is just how slow his top speed is. I feel like this is why there are so many dash panels in all the Sonic levels. New to Sonic stages are the Mach speed zones. In these, Sonic goes insanely fast and we can only move him left and right as well as jump, which is very stiff. I always dread these stages, but it's funny seeing Sonic spaz whenever you hit something. Now onto Shadow. His gameplay has a more emphasis on combat. Once you've done the homing attack, you can mash the button and Shadow can basically breakdance in midair. And that's what kills enemies because it's that bad. Shadow also has his Chaos powers, which are insanely useless outside the final boss fight where they are supercharged. Oh, Silver. Slow, pathetic, waste of my fucking time. Silver is honestly my least favorite out of the three to play as. Silver's main ability is his psychokinesis, meaning he can pick up objects and chuck them at enemies. He can even pick up enemies themselves after giving them a good bitch slap. Now let's move on to the amigos. They all suck, except for Blaze, because she is what Sonic should have been and is easily my favorite amigo to play as. We're not done with the gameplay yet. We have something called the gems. No, not the crystal gems. These gems. These gems are quite expensive, but they're definitely worth grinding out rings to get. See that bar? It's supposed to limit how often you use them, but due to this game's piss poor coding in Sonic's case, you can use the gems limitlessly. Visually, I say this is still good for an early Xbox 360 and PS3 game. The CGI cutscenes are absolutely beautiful for 2006. Seriously, it's like watching Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, but with a coat of Sonic paint on it. In terms of OST, I absolutely love it. Primarily the character themes, which are His World, a new version of All Hail Shadow, and Silver's main theme, Dreams of an Absolution. I also really like Mephiles' boss themes, primarily Phase 2, since I feel like that suits him more given his name is dangerously close to Mephistopheles. In fact, Iblis is another version of Lucifer in Islamic, so technically speaking, we fought against two versions of Satan. So let's recap everything I just went over. The story is an absolute clusterfuck, gameplay is okay, visually it's really good, and the OST is just simply amazing. Here are my closing thoughts. Overall, Sonic 06, while it is a horrendous game, especially given what happened behind the scenes, it's not what I consider the worst game ever made. Sure, the story is a mess, but without this game, we wouldn't have an amazing OST as well as the darkest villain in Sonic history. In fact, there's a Sonic fan game that is being developed called Sonic P-06. It's being made by Chaos X. It is meant to be a full bug-free remake of Sonic 06 using the Unity engine. I highly recommend you check it out, especially since all the Sonic stages are done, and show your support to Chaos X so they can continue giving us this amazing fan project. Overall, Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 gets my score of a 4.5 out of 10 with my seal of very missed potential. I'm sure with Sonic P-06 we could see what Sonic 06 could have been like if SEGA weren't so keen on wanting this game out by November of 2006. But now I want to know what you all think. Did you play Sonic 06? Did you enjoy the funny little glitches? And is it something you could possibly recommend to a friend? Leave your answers and more down in the comments. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, it really helps me out. And turn on the bell to be notified when I make a new video. As always, my social media links are down below. I've been Horror Kid, and here's to another 100 overall reviews. Take care.